Disclaimer, I do not dislike CinemaSins, and that is not a lie. For my next Everything Wrong with CinemaSins video, I'm going to be seeing their video on Big Hero 6, and I'm giving a shout out to my mom for requesting this video. And yeah, this is the video I'm uploading on her birthday. Enjoy, everyone.
One Disney logo is not enough. You must also endure the old-timey throwback Mickey logo bullshit as well.
Well, I believe this comment from my dad can tell you why.
Disney tries to push another real steal on us like we aren't going to notice that shit.
Yeah, so?
What's your name, little boy?
Hiro? Hiro Hamada?
Literal protagonist's name is literal.
Yeah, but it's not spelled H-E-R-O.
Well, at least one animated film with a good cop, bad cop character got nominated for an Oscar.
The fact that the Lego Movie wasn't nominated at the Oscars isn't a problem with this movie.
You graduated high school when you were 13, and this is what you're doing?
This is the perfect time for this kind of exposition. And how are they hearing each other?
Probably because they're sitting right by each other on the motorcycle.
Bot fighting is illegal!
Well, after Tadashi tells Hiro this, they end up getting arrested along with the others involved with the bot fighting. If Tadashi had waited until they got to the cafe, we probably wouldn't have known why they were being arrested.
Zero resistance, faster bike.
It'll allow the chick from Premium Rush to get her kid into the country 3 times faster than the last time.
Jeremy says something random cliche.
I spilled wasabi on my shirt one time, people! One time!
Okay, I'm going to do something really different and be extremely nitpicky here. I know these kids are nerds, but the guy spilled wasabi on his shirt, and this was deemed hilarious and embarrassing enough to base a whole nickname around it? Good thing these guys weren't around when I was younger, or I'd be called sour cream and onion dressing.
That's About You, which isn't on the movie, and I'll give this my award.
DPIX Comics.
Pointing things out on the screen.
You have been a good boy. Have a lollipop.
Hilarious, but where did he get the lollipop?
Hammerspace, my dude.
Look, I've got no problem with these microbots since we're in a sci-fi comic book cartoon, except the part where he says these things are controlled with your mind. Like, even under the best of circumstances where you're concentrating at a perfect level, how does that communicate to all these little bots the exact specifications you want?
Well, if you were paying attention, Hiro states that when using the neural transmitter, the microbots can do what he thinks he wants them to do.
Speak it! The microbots can do it.
So, this kid invented nanobots, only bigger, roughly tons of years after the invention of nanobots.
Well, looking at these two screenshots, a single nanobot looks bigger than a single microbot.
Robert, I know how you feel about me.
We find out later that Cray neglected safety when it came to a transportation portal, which Callahan's daughter test piloted and never came back. Because this needs to be a surprise for the audience, Cray talks to Callahan like they don't have a history together, and Callahan talks about Cray like he's simply some greedy businessman.
Well, based on what Cray says in this scene, it would imply that the two do have a history together.
Callahan's in there. Someone has to help.
Like, Aquaman? I can't believe this extremely smart guy thinks he can run into a burning building and expect anything but tragedy.
Well, part of Tadashi's character is that he wants to help people, and there's also no way for him to predict that the building's going to explode.
Oh, shit. All my microbots are in there. And my brother.
This is you just saying what Hiro is possibly thinking, not pointing out something wrong with this part of the movie.
As usual, no sad moments can happen without Earth dumping rain on everyone.
Okay, so what makes that wrong here?
You should expect an increase in body hair, especially on your face, chest, armpits, and...
Thank you!
Amazingly, the robot Baymax, thus far unfazed by any kind of protest, actually stops talking so this movie can keep its PG rating.
Yeah, because that's one of the adult jokes in this movie.
I'm satisfied, my...
Hiro is so unnecessarily beyond embarrassed about Baymax's discussion about puberty, he stupidly jumps on him to try and deflate him, which of course leads to a new discovery under the bed.
And if that didn't happen, we wouldn't have a movie, my dude.
Seeing these microbots do amazing things, but getting out of a jacket pocket is something that is above its pay grade.
What? The microbot didn't get out of the pocket by itself, it got out because Hiro grabbed it with his hand.
How did Baymax get on the trolley? Does he have coins? Paper currency? Is money obsolete in this weird-ass fusion future?
Money isn't obsolete in this movie because in the beginning of the movie, the bot fighters had to pay money to participate.
Cat Wilhelm scream.
See this from the Toy Story video.
Did you file a report when your flying robots were stolen?
Cop seems skeptical about flying robots, despite the 2-minute display of Baymax's obvious weird robot abilities and awareness.
Previously, the cop referred to Baymax as Balloon Man, which probably implies that he thinks that Baymax is a human dressed up in a costume.
Hiro kills a 30-pound cat by throwing it up an entire flight of stairs.
Except that's not true, because Mochi is shown being alive in the next scene.
Did Baymax charge all the way back up in like a minute?
Yes.
Let's work on your moves.
Movie clearly and deliberately rips off The Matrix.
As I've said many times before, it's a reference, not a ripoff.
A robot designed to help people with healthcare. And that's it. Of course, has multiple ports where you can stick other programming chips.
Pointing these out on the screen.
Knife hands! Back kick! Gummy bears!
That is definitely amusing, and I hate to be a killjoy, but did he need a robot to get him gummy bears out of the vending machine? Man, I'm an asshole.
This is just supposed to be a funny joke, my dude. Also, why do you have a problem being a killjoy here, but had no problem with it when doing movies like Angry Birds 2 and Princess and the Frog?
Don't push us away, Hiro. We're here for you.
That's why Baymax contacted us.
And we waited for hours before actually driving out to see you so that we could get mixed up into the plot.
Well, it would have taken time for them all to meet up and drive together to meet up with Hero and Baymax.
Holy mother of Megazord!
I hear they just took a lot of TJ Miller's outtakes from Cloverfield and put it into this movie.
Actually, TJ Miller improvised most of Fred's exclamations.
Seriously? She took a picture with Flash and everything? She really just did that.
Yes, that's what she did here.
A movie that pretends to care about science proceeds to make this possible.
Like I've said before, this movie isn't giving any cares about science. Get it yet?
The masked villain assumes the heroes are dead and wanders off stupidly. Either that or his intent was only to scare them all along, in which case he carried on for far too long.
It's the former, and Callahan walks away because since he thinks Hero and the others are dead, they supposedly won't interfere with his plans.
The movie thinks it can slip a Stan Lee cameo by us like we're just gonna let that shit slide. Nice try, assholes.
While this film isn't technically branded as a Marvel property, Stan Lee made lots of cameos in Marvel movies, TV shows, and comics.
I hear a song, which means montage time.
Which is exactly what's happening here, and that also happened in other movies like Mulan.
Does Tony Stark know that some kid in futuristic San Francisco has a pirated version of his gadget creation software? First Iron Man's hand gesture creation computer, Tron Girl, and now Mr. Incredible's I'm too fat to fit into my suit moment. This movie is ripping off all the Disney.
Just because this movie has similar things to other movies doesn't mean that it's a ripoff, my dude.
He gave everyone a weapon except the dark-haired chick who gets skates.
But Gogo does get wheels in her hands, which become her weapons.
Also, that's the Iron Man suit. Awesome. Why you didn't create Cap's shield and Thor's hammer for other members of the team, I'll never know.
This isn't a sin. You're just comparing the outfits in this movie to the outfits the superheroes in MCU films wear.
Baymax steals the Oddjob from Goldfinger.
Except in Goldfinger, Oddjob throws his hat and Baymax launches a rocket fist here.
The movie can't resist its inner Harry Potter and has Baymax fly through San Francisco basically just to show off the IMAX 3D stuff you overpaid for. All these movies have a scene like this, pretending to justify the need for the technology.
Actually, the point of this is that this is the movie showing that Baymax's new suit, his new upgrades, what they are, and how they work.
Is this still going? I honestly just counted 20 movies with a scene like this in my head during this scene. I figured I missed something and would have to ask the 7-year-old kicking my seat for a plot update, but nope.
Yes, it is still going, and if you're doing something like that, you will definitely miss something, so the better option is to pay attention.
All the visual information they need to know is ready to watch at the push of a button.
Pointing things out on the screen again.
And a dash of Spider-Man 2. Jesus, this movie is a f***ing casserole of other movies' ideas.
Just because a movie has something similar to something from another movie does not mean that that movie is stealing it from the other movie.
Having failed earlier to kill them by throwing a car, villain spins the prize wheel of attacks and once again lands on the throwing heavy shit at people and hoping they die pie wedge.
But they're not in a car this time, and a giant rock does seem likely to kill them, which doesn't actually happen.
The explosion. You died.
No. I had your microbots.
Which are explosion-proof.
Yeah, so what makes that wrong here?
Also, who started the fire? You can cue the Billy Joel music while we figure this out. I guess Callahan did? Because he knew the microbots would protect him as he birthed his revenge scheme?
You answered yourself. Callahan did start the fire in order to cover his tracks of stealing Hero's microbots.
Movie steals the robot temporarily turns bad scene from the Iron Giant.
Again, I'm sure it's a reference, my dude.
My enhanced scanner has been damaged.
Of course it has. It fulfilled its one use, and now it's worthless.
Not exactly. Baymax previously told Hero that the structure of the center was interfering with his sensor.
Hey, but maybe don't leave your team stranded on a spooky island next time.
Oh, man.
Nah, it's cool. Heathcliff picked us up in the family chopper.
Somehow we were able to get here in the 4 minutes you've been in this garage.
Well, we don't know how long it took for Hero and Baymax to fly back to the garage, so you can't be sure that it took the others exactly 4 minutes to get back.
We found something you should see.
Damn, 20% of this girl's lines are "you should look at this" cliches.
There are only 2 instances of Honey Lemon saying that, which doesn't make up 20% of her dialogue.
Speaking of which, nearly all the characters that are not Baymax are nearly worthless in this movie. What distinguishes these characters that make you want to see more of them?
For Hero, it's because he's the main character, and for Honey Lemon, Go-Go, Fred, and Wasabi, it's so that we can see them become more than just nerds.
You took everything from me when you sent Abigail into that machine. Now I'm taking everything from you.
This is the most elaborate eye for an eye revenge plan ever conceived. What was he going to do if Hero never invented those microbots? Because I would have gone with that plan.
Like I've said many times before, that didn't happen, which means that this isn't a sin.
My sensor is detecting signs of life.
Abigail has been subsisting on Balrog dreams and fairy dust whilst in another dimension.
Yeah, so?
The portal is destabilizing.
She's alive in there. Someone has to help.
Hey, those are the same words Tadashi used when he stupidly went into that burning building. But now they sound heroic. I mean, doubly stupid, considering what happened to Tadashi.
Well, you're not completely wrong here. What you're missing is that part of Hiro's character arc is that you should follow in Tadashi's footsteps.
Wasn't this a matter transporter between two places? This part of the movie suggests the contraption first transports you to some weird spacey alternate dimension place, and then you have to find the second portal to get out, which means Cray actually invented more than a teleportation device. He invented a f***ing wormhole. or an alternate universe.
Again, you're just pointing out something in the movie.
Whew! They did that just at the moment it exploded. If Hero had whined about anything else for just one more second, they would have died.
And like I just said not too long ago, that didn't happen, so why is this a sin?
Who are we?
Spider-Man? The Incredibles? The Avengers? The Fantastic Four?
Jeremy says something random cliche.
Oh, shit. Now there are 6 more you assholes I gotta keep track of.
Well, in those 3 teams you mentioned previously, there's more than one character to keep track of.
Stan Lee isn't content to cameo in a painting.
Well, Stan Lee made other cameo appearances like this in other animated Marvel works, such as Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And here's the end result, everybody. The sin total was 245, and the sentence will be trapped in a portal. Now, before we close out this video, I have something to say. I've decided to cancel the request suspension period because I've said yes to some that I've gotten during it. So, Andy Englisson, Dale Van Antwerp, The Gabe, Thomas the Terrific, Phineas Isabella Fan 01, The Sonic King, Flower Fun Reviews, and Dragon Ball Universe, you guys will be happy to hear that you no longer need to wait for me to complete a certain number of videos before I do this. There are 2 that I want to do after I do 3 that I want to do, by the way. And I'll just be doing them whenever I decide to do them. So now that I've said that, have a nice day, everybody.